As we age, our bodies require more care and attention, not just in what we eat, but also in how we store our food. While refrigeration is often seen as the best way to preserve food, it's not always the best choice for every type of food. In fact, there are certain foods that should never be refrigerated, as doing so can actually reduce their quality, flavor, and nutritional value. In today's video, we'll reveal 9 foods you should never refrigerate and explain the best ways to store them. Many seniors unknowingly store these foods in the fridge, causing them to lose their taste and nutritional value. By making a few simple changes, you can keep your food fresh longer and maintain its health benefits. Stay tuned to learn which common foods to remove from the fridge and where to store them for maximum freshness. If you want to keep your meals healthy and tasty, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with others who may be making these refrigerator mistakes. Let's dive into the foods you should never refrigerate and how to store them properly for optimal taste and nutrition. 9 foods you should never refrigerate. As we age, our nutritional needs become even more important to ensure our bodies get the right fuel to maintain health. When it comes to food storage, refrigeration is a common practice for preserving freshness, but not all foods benefit from being stored in the fridge. In fact, certain foods lose their flavor, texture, and nutritional value when placed in a cold environment. Here are 9 foods you should never refrigerate and why it's important to store them properly for the best taste and health benefits. Number 1. Tomatoes. Keep them on the counter, not in the fridge. Tomatoes are a staple in many diets, from salads to sauces, yet they're one of the most misstored foods in the kitchen. Refrigerating tomatoes causes them to lose flavor and change texture. Cold temperatures interfere with the production of ethylene, the natural gas that helps the tomato ripen, which means you won't get the full burst of flavor when you eat them. Why tomatoes shouldn't be refrigerated? Refrigerating tomatoes dulls their taste by halting the ripening process. Cold temperatures break down their cell walls, making them mealy and watery rather than juicy. While refrigeration might extend their shelf life slightly, it compromises their flavor. In addition, it accelerates the breakdown of antioxidants, reducing their health benefits. How to store tomatoes. The best way to store tomatoes is at room temperature in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. To prevent over-ripening, store tomatoes with the stem side down on a flat surface like a countertop or in a bowl. This position prevents bruising and helps retain moisture without encouraging faster spoilage. For ripe tomatoes, once tomatoes are ripe, they should be eaten within a few days. But if you can't use them right away, you can store them in the fridge to prolong freshness. However, bring them back to room temperature before eating to allow the full flavor to emerge. Number 2. Potatoes. Keep them cool, dry, and dark. Potatoes are a hearty food, often used as a base for many meals, but storing them incorrectly can lead to an unpleasant texture and taste. Many people make the mistake of storing their potatoes in the fridge, thinking that the cold will help them last longer. However, refrigerating potatoes actually turns their starch into sugar, resulting in a sweet, unpleasant flavor and a gritty texture. Why potatoes shouldn't be refrigerated? When potatoes are stored in cold environments, their starches begin to convert into sugars. This not only affects the taste, but also leads to a higher likelihood of developing a bitter flavor when cooked, especially when fried or roasted. Storing potatoes in the fridge also damages their natural enzymes, which are needed to break down sugars and starches properly. How to store potatoes? Store potatoes in a cool, dry, and dark place, such as a pantry, cupboard, or a root cellar. A temperature range between 45 degrees Celsius and 50 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. Potatoes need good air circulation, so avoid storing them in plastic bags, which trap moisture and encourage rot. Instead, use a perforated paper bag, mesh bag, or basket to allow air to flow through. For long-term storage, if you have a surplus of potatoes, consider storing them in a burlap sack or a well-ventilated cardboard box to prevent them from sprouting prematurely. Keep potatoes away from onions, as both release gases that speed up spoilage. Number 3. Bananas. Leave them at room temperature. Bananas are a versatile fruit, offering a good source of potassium and fine fiber. They ripen quickly and are often eaten as a convenient snack. However, many people make the mistake of refrigerating bananas to keep them fresh longer. Refrigerating bananas causes their skin to turn brown or black, and while the fruit inside may still be good, the texture and flavor will be compromised. Why bananas shouldn't be refrigerated? Bananas produce ethylene gas during ripening, which is a natural trigger for the fruit to mature. Storing bananas in the fridge halts this process, which not only stunts the ripening, but also causes the skin to darken, leaving the fruit inside still edible but far from its best flavor. How to store bananas? Store bananas at room temperature in a cool place away from direct sunlight. You can separate the bananas from each other to slow down the ripening process. If you want to slow down the ripening of overripe bananas, you can refrigerate them, but only after they've already ripened to your liking. The skin will darken, but the fruit inside will remain good for longer. Number 4, garlic. Keep it in a dry, dark place. Garlic is a powerful addition to many dishes, prized for its rich flavor and health benefits. It's a pantry staple, but storing garlic in the refrigerator is one of the most common mistakes people make. Refrigerating garlic can cause it to sprout, which affects its taste and texture, making it bitter and less enjoyable. Why garlic shouldn't be refrigerated? Garlic stored in the fridge tends to sprout, and the cooler temperatures can cause the garlic to become soft and moldy. Furthermore, garlic loses its potent aroma and flavor when stored in the fridge. The cold environment can also cause the essential oils to break down, diminishing the garlic's health benefits. How to store garlic? Store whole bulbs of garlic in a cool, dry, and dark place. A pantry or cupboard with good air circulation is perfect. Use a mesh bag or basket to allow the garlic to breathe. Once garlic is broken into individual cloves, it should be used quickly. However, if you have leftover cloves, store them in a dry sealed container at room temperature. Number 5, onions. Keep them in a well-ventilated area. Like garlic, onions are best stored outside of the fridge. When placed in the fridge, onions tend to absorb moisture, leading to sogginess and spoilage. The humidity in the fridge can also cause them to rot faster, especially if they've been cut. Why onions shouldn't be refrigerated? Refrigerating onions can cause them to soften and become mushy. The moisture in the fridge accelerates spoilage, and the onion's natural oils can also spread to other items in the fridge, causing an unpleasant smell. How to store onions? Onions should be stored in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated place, such as a pantry or a wire mesh basket. Avoid storing them in plastic bags, as these can trap moisture. If you've already cut an onion, you can store the leftovers in the fridge in an airtight container, but be sure to use them within a few days. Number 6, bread. Keep it in a bread box or pantry. Bread is one of the most popular foods, but refrigeration is not the best method for keeping it fresh. Many people refrigerate bread thinking it will last longer, but this actually causes the bread to dry out, making it less enjoyable to eat. Why bread shouldn't be refrigerated? Refrigerating bread causes it to go stale faster. The cold air causes the starches in the bread to crystallize, which leads to dry, hard bread. Refrigeration also strips bread of its natural moisture, making it less appealing and harder to eat. How to store bread? To keep bread fresh, store it in a bread box or a paper bag at room temperature. A bread box keeps the bread in an environment that's both dry and well ventilated, which helps maintain its moisture and flavor. If you have extra bread, you can freeze it to preserve its freshness for longer periods. Simply slice it before freezing and toast or thaw it as needed. Number 7, avocados. Don't refrigerate until fully ripe. Avocados are a great source of healthy fats and vitamins, but they should never be refrigerated until they're ripe. If placed in the fridge while unripe, avocados won't ripen properly. Why avocados shouldn't be refrigerated? Storing unripe avocados in the fridge slows down the ripening process, and they'll remain hard and inedible for a long time. Refrigerating them too early can also affect the flavor and texture, leaving them bland and hard. How to store avocados? Store avocados at room temperature until they ripen. Once ripe, you can refrigerate them to prolong their freshness. If you've cut an avocado, you can store the leftover half in an airtight container with a bit of lemon juice to prevent browning. Number 8, honey. Keep it in a cool, dry place. Honey is one of the most long-lasting foods in existence. It can remain edible for years if stored properly. However, storing honey in the fridge can cause it to crystallize, making it difficult to use. Why honey shouldn't be refrigerated? Refrigeration causes honey to crystallize, which makes it thicker and harder to use. This process doesn't affect the quality or taste of the honey, but it does make it inconvenient. How to store honey? Store honey in a cool, dry place at room temperature. A pantry or cupboard works well, and the key is to keep it tightly sealed to prevent moisture from getting in. Number 9, olive oil. Keep it in a dark, cool place. Olive oil is packed with healthy fats and antioxidants, making it a nutritious staple in many diets. However, refrigeration can cause olive oil to solidify and lose its flavor. Why olive oil shouldn't be refrigerated? When olive oil is refrigerated, it becomes cloudy and solidifies. This doesn't affect the quality of the oil, but it makes it difficult to use and can alter its texture. How to store olive oil? Store olive oil in a cool, dark place away from sunlight and heat. The best place to store it is in a dark glass bottle to protect it from light. Avoid keeping it near your stove, as the heat can break down the oil's nutrients and flavor. By making these simple adjustments to how you store your food, you can improve its freshness, preserve its nutrients, and reduce waste. For seniors, this means enjoying better tasting, more nutritious meals and potentially even improving your overall health by making smarter storage choices. Avoiding the refrigerator for certain foods will help maintain their natural flavors and health benefits. Whether it's tomatoes, bread, or olive oil, the right storage makes a big difference in your health and wellness. At Golden Years Balance, we're here to share tips and tricks to help you live a longer, healthier life. By paying attention to how you store your food and taking small steps to improve your habits, you can enjoy a better quality of life as you age. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit from these food storage tips. Stay healthy, stay informed, and take care of yourself every day.